We'll see if Endpoint are good at edging. I know Mark Horner certainly is, edging those wins across the line, taking it to the victory. Let's put it that way. And never talk about that again.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of things you say that we instantly have to go to that approach.
We're here on Derailed, so it's a best of one, which means you're obviously vetoing down 2 here. The knife starts out, you veto down, and whoever gets the last choice gets to pick out of 2 maps. Derailed, a map I remember Endpoint taking it quite a lot. Manor House has always been their go-to, and a map that obviously we see being removed a lot of the time when you're coming up against these British boys. Although they're majority not British, but it doesn't matter. The org is, and that's all that matters. So is young Mark Horner. Going under the pseudonym of Homer there on your screen, or Horner with very little
No,
spaces.
it's Homer. It's because of the Penta jersey. 4v3 right now. Oh, nice kill coming in, of course, up in the cinema right there by Samuel. Forgot what it was called for a moment. Somehow. The bomb right now being dropped in towards the broken house. It will have to be retrieved, but I don't think that's really going to be too much of an issue when, of course, it's all on towards Reflex or ends up getting caught and taken down there by Sus. So Envictus coming in, picking up that opening round here over on the Allied side. Not a bad start for themselves at all. But this is a pretty even map from what I remember. It's not too heavily favored towards either side of them, correct?
And see, it really depends. If the teams are coming out with really strong nades at the start of it, you can lock the enemy team out on the Axis side. At the same time, it's one where if Envictus so crossing over towards B can be very difficult, but if you get there, you can get nades timed in such that Endpoint can't get out onto the side in time. You can claim cinema control and then push out of the site from it. So it gives advantages, and it really depends on the team and how well they know this map. And at the moment, it's obviously looking good for Envictus with the first round under their belt. All they have to do is lock out Endpoint from finding a whole lot in this weaker investment. They have a couple of Gewehr's bought up, but for the most part, it's those popcorn rifles. We've already seen Replan fall, and the rotation from Fake isn't going to be found all too easily. Samuel G is 1 HP, though. So eliminated with Cinda pushing through, and that's going to be an upgraded Tommy gun, as Sean loves when I say.
Yeah, nice man advantage for Envictus here. Bomb, it is indeed going to be planted, I would imagine, without Endpoint really being able to do too much about this one. And Cinda, I was going to say, is indeed going to get caught off guard. They're trying to creep out. It's Sus to find that kill and shut down the rotation pretty quickly. Eventually drops the Mark, of course, who comes in there from middle, but left alongside Reflexer right now. It doesn't look like they really even want to attempt this retake. They've been able to pick themselves up an extra weapon. They have the Gewehr there on towards Reflexer. Mark, of course, having himself the Thompson. So they are just going to look to try and save over those 2 weapons. But, I mean, it's not like it was an impossible retake. But it seems like they weighed up the risk and the reward, rather. And they decided that it wasn't really too worthwhile going for. But there we have it. 2 for Envictus already. I mean, off to a very quick start here on the Allied side. Looking fairly convincing as well.
Well, I mean, that's because just those early rounds can swing either way. But the thing for Endpoint, actually, I'd argue they've had a really solid start to this map. Despite losing the opening round, they come out of this with 2 Tommy guns carried forward, giving them a fantastic opportunity with the Thompsons to deal a lot of damage when it comes down to holding some of these closer range angles. Reflexer and Homer are going to be also donating over tokens because of these carried forward weapons. And, of course, Reflexer even has the ability to fight on a longer range. So this is a really solid start for Endpoint if they can convert this round, and that's the caveat. If it doesn't work out here, then they've had a fantastic early play that doesn't, that they can't manage on the back of. With Replan also having a Car 98, we've talked about the advantages of that. Delayed nades down middle I really liked, although they didn't get much of a reward for it with Samuel G regenerating the health already.
Yeah, just about managed to survive that one. It was very close, but of course with this being Battalion, it's not quite CSGO. Even if that damage is done, you are given the time to regenerate that health as long as you aren't immediately hopping into the action. So still the 5-on-5 early on. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining on the clock, so not really a rush, of course, right now for that Allied side, as Endpoint are just going to be holding a little bit of a default split up across the map, waiting to see what's going to show itself to them. And it looks like overall, right now, the majority of the players for both of these teams are focused outside of B, and also the bomb being around this area would probably indicate that this is where they look to take it in the end. But a nice kill by Mark right there, rather. Reflex are able to find one as well before Sus eventually trades one back on Cinda. Homer's thrown me off a little bit, not going to lie.
Yeah, no, it tends to. It tends to. He changes his name quite a lot. At least it's not Peng Doggy Dog. I remember those days. Sus opens it onto Reflexer, but Fake trades it back. So we're into a 2 versus 3. At the moment for Endpoint, obviously with the bomb being trapped outside of Cinema, it's a very solid place to play from. Sus isn't going to be able to do a whole lot. After smoking himself out, he has to wait for the health to regen up in 20 seconds. A move has to be made immediately by Niels. Nothing in through Cinema, but the bomb retrieved. He can go out and get that bomb planted, but he's spotted out by Fake, taken down. That's the round pretty much over, especially with Homer finishing off Sus. That does it for sure, and Endpoint convert the round that we said they looked good for. The advantages of carrying over those two weapons in round number 2 are displayed across the board. Now for Envictus, I mean, their economy isn't looking fantastic, so the investment here will take a little bit of forethought.
Yeah, as we said in that previous game, there's not a lot of opportunity to actually build up economy. Unless you're winning like 10-0 or something, then you're probably going to be constantly reinvesting, at the very least, into the nades and the smokes.
On a map like Derailed.
Yeah, so that's going to be using pretty much everything. On even just most maps in general, because the nades are still very useful, although Derailed is probably one where you have the best chance, I would say, of picking up those kills, especially early on. But no matter what map it is, of course, going to be very ideal that you do have those nades early on. Nice kill by Replan was found here to actually kick things off, and although Fancy found himself one trade, Fake is the one that comes back immediately onto Samuel. So it is still that man advantage.
The man advantage to play with, as well as the fact that you've got Fake tucked in up above. Down goes Niels to that, with the cinema control being theirs as well as the site. Envictus are not going to have a great time pushing out into Endpoint. They're looking to spot anybody out, but just tucked in at the moment. Shot goes out. Oh no, Replan. That's a little bit of an overextension with the Kar 98K. That now being dropped. They know that Fake is up above. Smoke down onto the bomb site so they can get a plant, but the flank coming through from Homer. Mark. Oh no! Okay, he eventually finishes him off. I thought he was going to just let him escape, and Fancy falls. Endpoint pick up another round, and textbook style. I like Mark's. A little bit of a flank coming up through, and again, Homer being marked, then everybody else is running with the proper name. You got Cinder, Replan, Fake, and Reflexer. And then on the left side, Fancy Joses, Sus, Samuel G, and good old Niels. Everyone's being good except for Mark.
Yeah, I should probably explain actually why his name is Homer. We did briefly mention it earlier on. I think I said it was because of the Penta jersey. But when they were playing in the Gallantry Budapest event?
Gallantry Budapest, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately Endpoint, rather Penta, who they were playing for at the time, when they got his jersey, instead of saying Mark Horner, it said Mark Homer. So yeah, he's made that into a little bit of a meme, and he's rolling with it. But he does go down early on, so the only place he's going to be rolling is in his grave. Nice opening kill by Sus.
Sus, one of the champions of the first ever LAN for Battalion over at Insomnia.
Yeah, with these boys as well, or rather Endpoint, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? He was always around. He played with the Endpoint boys at a certain time. Oh, okay. Cinda coming in with Fake on a double. That's not a strong start coming through from Envictus on the push. And finally, it's taken down. It's a 4-man surviving for Endpoint. That's really strong. I think at Insomnia, it was Avenue that took it across the line.
Oh, okay.
And then he went on later to play for some of the guys at Endpoint. Because that was the only LAN, I think, that Endpoint weren't able to win, if I remember correctly.
Is that the one they got the skins from, with where Sus had the phallus on it?
Oh yeah, it was, yeah.
So I think I think
it was Endpoint then, yeah. And Avenue.
I wasn't at that when you were at that LAN, Mitch.
Yeah,
I didn't even.
It was over a year
really
ago.
Know what battalion was at the time.
That was actually
and I know
a year. It was a year and a half ago, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty long time ago. Back in the beginning of early access, of course. So
yeah,
the game haven't advanced quite a bit since then, and a lot of the same players still sticking around, with some, of course, new names showing up.
That's freaking me out how long ago that was. It really doesn't feel like that long.
Replan already gone, though, in this round, so although an Endpoint rather have been able to find themselves quite a few rounds of success in a row, this is a decent position for Envictus. The only issue is we've seen them with that man advantage in the previous round when they were able to take down Mark to kick things off, and then once they actually tried to take it on towards that A-bomb site, they weren't able to find anything else at all. So you would hope that this time they will be able to actually capitalize on the advantage that they have. Oh, chooses taking a shot at his teammate there. Unfortunately, maybe giving a bit of information over towards Endpoint about what's actually going on.
I just went back and had a look because I was I'm gonna refresh my memory on it. Yeah, it was the whole Kostya thing that confused me, because he went over to Endpoint afterwards because we had fallen apart of Saint Six and Sus and stuff on that lineup. Been a lot of lineup changes in Battalion. I saw upper control from Fake. He has always done so well at controlling cinema. Is a little bit over aggressive going back over that kill, but the nade coming in with the tag and reflexer onto Fancy. This is putting Endpoint well back ahead. Sus is so low at the moment, but he jumps up to take Homer out. With Mark being down, that's going to be a very awkward fight for Reflexer. Long range, but the time's ticked away. No time to get that bomb plant anymore. An Endpoint have won out the round just by beating them back and taking the map control. They don't need to win all the fights. They don't need to secure the site. All they got to do is make them worried enough that they can't plant.
Yeah, and they don't even attempt to actually take down those two remaining weapons once the time runs out. Endpoint realizing, of course, how important it is that they keep over what they have in their possession alongside the utility. It does allow for Fancy and, of course, Sus to not have to invest quite as much. Sus even having an SDG to work with alongside to Thompson. So it is still a really good buy going to be coming in here from Envictus. They have the scope on Samuel. On the other hand, it is just a Kar 98 for Replin, but it's still a very dangerous weapon. So a round that could definitely still go either way at the moment. Nade down mid didn't really connect much, of course, onto Samuel, and eventually they do just drop down a smoke now so that they can go ahead and cross over, try and get themselves a little bit of control, maybe over towards outside B, set themselves up well for whatever they may want to try and attempt in this round towards the end of it, rather. Right now, it seems like they're expecting maybe some aggression to come in from Endpoint, though, because they are holding back relatively passive.
When you've got the likes of the Kar 98K in play, you can afford to play that more passive play style, especially, I suppose, when you're on the Axis side. One nade left on Cinda, and with Homer finding the opening kill, Raplan spotted quite a bit of contact. The problem is his position now known. It becomes very difficult to peek around that terrain when you know there's one or two players looking straight at you. He's just waiting instead to catch anybody coming down through lower cinema. As Reflexer supports from afar, Sus falls. Now Raplan feels the confidence to go out for another peek. And an easy kill. Found! They haven't got the communication there. I thought they'd spotted him out earlier on top of the train, but clearly not, as he picks a double.
Yeah, and then the information being given over by Juices towards Samuel took a little while as well. Maybe not 100% sure of where he actually got taken down from, because otherwise that likely would have been called over to Samuel in towards Cinema, rather, and he wouldn't have left himself exposed to that position. So a little bit awkward. 5-2 now for Endpoint, of course, and at this point it's 5, I believe, now in a row for Endpoint. I think Envictus, if I remember correctly, did pick up those opening 2 rounds, and since then haven't really found anything at all. And that makes sense when you look at this now and realize that a pause is being called in. It's definitely the time that Envictus need to start discussing what's going wrong and what they need to change up. 11-3 for Fake. He's been playing amazingly. Had that 3K, of course, on the A-bomb site when we had that push come in, when they had the man disadvantage.
I think for the Allied side now of Envictus, you can have that little bit of a slower start. You're on the Allied side. You've won the first 2 rounds. You're really only finding your legs in terms of how you're attacking on Derailed. But there's a certain point at which you draw the line. Like you say, like, they've got to get rounds on the board, and we're very close to it. With full investment coming through yet again, a potential scope to come out for Samuel G with 6 tokens sitting on him and nothing bought up just yet. You have plenty of smokes. I would rather see some nades actually in play. At the moment, they've nothing to work with. Joseph with just 1 token could find himself another Granada. Samuel does take himself the scoop. With 3 smokes in play, Niels has got 4 to invest. The conversation is very much where does he throw those. Sus takes a nade, and Niels on a bar. It was Sus that, so Sus obviously feels he's got the lineup, so he's the one you want to keep an eye on early game. You're on the Allied side. Juices has a token left over. Niels has one as well, and they both donate to Sus. He buys the nade. He's the one that obviously has a lineup, has some idea on how Endpoint are playing and how they can maybe find an opening duel, maybe take a faster approach to the round as well. It's all up in the air at the moment, but we'll see how they want to approach this. I think Sus is the key player.
Yeah, we're definitely going to find out soon. I think Sus is definitely someone that we should be focused on early on. Endpoint going to be throwing out their own nades just to attempt to stop, or at the very least, of course, slow down that mid-cross, and they do so. They definitely slow it down, but not really going to be able to do too much apart from that small bit of damage, which of course has already been negated with the health regen. So it is just the standard 5-on-5 right now, with a lot of control early on being actually found, I was going to say, for Envictus over towards B. But as I say that, Rappling gets himself 1, instantly follows it up. Fake peeking in towards upper cinema, going to be able to drop Juices. And it's all on Fancy and Niels. What was looking okay, they had approached up towards this B bomb site through cinema, just completely falls apart. Not even able to get a single trade on those kills. It is, it's certainly disappointing.
I didn't catch where Sus lobbed the nade early on, but it didn't do a whole lot for them. And then Replan just tearing them apart with that Kar 98K. He's been doing this so consistently, and he finds another 3rd on the board. Niels looking around, trying to catch some combat somewhere. Oh, the bar view model even blocks his sight. He's spotted, and the flank comes up behind from Fake, who was just lurking there the whole time, waiting for someone to get aggressive in cinema. And it's 6 on the board. 6 in a row for Team Endpoint. They're not slowing down at all, and with Fake having that scope now to play around, the ranged battles are certainly in Endpoint's favor, and they've got plenty to deal with the closer fights. We talked about how it's hard to build up economy, and yet you can see that Endpoint had done a pretty good job at it with full nades, with grenades and smokes, and everything they could possibly want. Everybody, with the exception of Homer, has got themselves a secondary, not the best of nades. They're still rocking very high on economy.
Yeah, I don't think that's where that nade was meant to go quite on towards middle. Sus actually spamming through the smoke, ends up taking down Reflexer right there. And in the meantime, Juice has also been able to take one, has managed to actually put this into a 5-on-3 in favor of Envictus. Easily the best position they've been in quite a few rounds. Rappelin pulls one back, and this is a man that has been almost unstoppable on this Car 98. Of course, taken 3 in the previous round. They cannot allow for that to happen again. This is a round that they very much need to pick up.
Homer missed the nade earlier on, but now Mark's going through the smoke. He's looking to catch him from behind. Picks one, but he's eventually spotted out and traded on. Luckily, it was a grease gun that saw him, so he could find the kill first. The bomb should be planted now. Replan hoping to catch somebody walking out towards the doors. Sus is in danger. He's running up. Replan gets the shot. Great setup and a great frag to be found. Now coming in for the retake. At least Envictus have the information. They know roughly where both players are. Well, actually, whether they have the read on where Replan shot that Car 98K shot from or not is up for question, but they've spotted him out at this point. You've one player in towards the back with Graveyard being held. It's not the easiest of spots to play from. Oh, no. Cinda misses so many bullets, but eventually finds it. Niels comes out with the STG, takes out Replan, tucks in the left corner. This is a smart move. I don't think it'll be expected for him to move all the way out here. Cinda taking his time coming back in. MB40 in hand. It's a hard fight to win up against Niels. Spots the shadow and lots of damage done. Cinda, is he going to re-aggress? And he slow peeks around the corner. Niels easily able to dispatch him. Regens up his health and everything. And a third round found for Envictus, breaking the winning streak of Endpoint at last.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to be able to actually replicate another couple of rounds off the back of this, though, because if they can bring it up to 4 or 5, that's probably where they would be feeling a little bit more comfortable. 3, not quite enough, but it's certainly a good foundation. If they can pick up 1 or 2 of these remaining rounds, then I think they would be happy. But of course, Endpoint are still able to get a pretty solid buy-in. Replan able to go straight back onto the Car 98. They have the SDGs coming out for Mark and Reflexer, a couple MP40s, and a decent amount of utility. I mean, they don't have a lot. A couple nades being thrown out early on, leaves them with 3 in possession, a couple of smokes still remaining. I think they did use one there early on as well to stop any quick B rushes from coming in, but it's actually Samuel to pick up the opening kill. Replan trying to get aggressive through lower cinema, ends up going down. And that puts a lot of pressure now towards on the player towards upper, rather. Going straight through the smoke, that is risky. That's not needed when you already have the 5-on-4 from Samuel.
Well, they're about to start pushing out, but yeah, no, it's not needed because it was too slow. You can see the benefit of it maybe distracting them. Now they find a kill up behind. Homer on the flank has become an expected thing. Chooses takes out Fake, and they've so little control now. Endpoint need to play aggressive. Nice shot by Reflexer through the smoke. Cinda comes around. They're still committing towards the B site despite so much presence being made with them, so much map control opened up. That's a mistake. Bomb dropped. Cinda finds one Reflexer on another, and it's all on to Cinda. He's got to clutch it back. Sus is all alone. 1 versus 1. After finding the trade back for his teammate. The bomb dropped inside the smoke, but look at that wall that's out there. I mean, Cinda could have moved into absolutely any position at this point. He could have started to get aggressive left or right, come around through Lightroom, or just be lying down right where he is, waiting, biding his time for Sus to make a play, and it's Sus coming up behind. 15 seconds, though. Does he have time? He can rotate to A if he legs it, but he's going back to B right now. He should know at this point that Cinda's tucked in on the close right, and indeed he does, just eliminating all the angles. I mean, where else could he have went unless he had pushed into side at that point?
Yeah, that was well played by Sus, making sure he checked out that close angle. I was a little bit worried for him, not going to lie, once he was beginning to cross over towards that angle up close against the MP40. He certainly could have been dangerous, but well played. 4 on the board now for Envictus. They picked up a couple in a row, and as we can see, the economy for Endpoint not in a good position. They are one of the few teams that at points are willing to take these ecos, and it looks like they're going to go for it. So, I mean, on paper, at least, they're Envictus. They are favored to take themselves a 5th round. Small bit of nade damage onto Samuel. Kind of slows him down a little bit, stops him from being able to take the peek immediately in towards B, but even then, I don't think it really deterred him too much. Did manage to get himself an angle, and eventually dropping the smoke pretty much gives them the bomb site. Fake is in towards Dark, but although he spots a player going up the steps, I was going to say there's nothing that he can do about that bomb plant, and ends up going down in the end as well.
Replin finding himself one onto Samuel G is probably about as good as that round's going to get. Just massacre it afterwards, but at least forcing reinvestment. It's always an upside. 6-5. Endpoint have had themselves a pretty decent recovery after losing the first 2 rounds, but Envictus are looking stronger. By the minute, by the second. The economy's still not built up massively for them. You can see their wallet is a little bit empty. Now at the moment, I mean, look at that from Sus. The absolute carry, 14 kills, and the next closest player in his team has got 5. On the allied side especially, that is so valuable to have a player fragging that heavily. Fake's not doing a bad job either. We talked about his cinema control in general. Nice head peek by Reflexer. He gets spotted out and tagged by Samuel G. Uses the information to play even more aggressive as Jesus falls. He's trying to catch the rotate through middle. Reflexer trying to win the round all by himself. Envictus decide to back off. They're going for the cinema control, but Sus is going alone. Still wins that duel onto Fake. Fake owns cinema, but Sus taking up real estate right outside of it. A 4v3 develops. The bomb control goes to Envictus, but the map control certainly to Endpoint. Just take a look at where Homer is at the moment. Mark, is he playing in the alleyway or is he boosted up? Okay, good. Because if he was boosted up, there used to be a boost you could do there at the light, but it's an illegal boost now. I don't think it's even possible anymore, but yeah. You're not allowed to do it because you can't get there naturally. And I was worried he was there when I looked at that map, but no. He's holding passive control on A. So Endpoint have very little to do with the A side, but Envictus have been preferencing B a lot.
And they continue to do so. So taking a little bit of a gamble here is looking like it probably will pay off. They have 2 players in decent positions, one in Cinema. Reflexer here towards the Doro, manages to take all 3 kills. Doesn't even matter. I was going to say that player in Cinema is going to be a nuisance for them, even if they did manage to trade out towards the player on the door, but it just doesn't matter. Reflexer with an ace, as Mitch said. 3 there in the end, and the ace overall, 7-5. So Endpoint, they keep their lead now heading into the second half. But Envictus, they can do this. They look pretty good on the allied side.
The Endpoint are a different beast, though, when they're attacking. And at the moment, we're seeing 2 smokes brought out alongside carbines. I'm expecting a slightly faster approach. Smoking the cross off the bat comes through from Replan. Cinda's still got one to play with when they get towards the bomb site. It's going to be a very fast B hit with a bit of a lurk going down. You can see Replan sitting behind, waiting to catch a flank as they push through the smoke. Replan hears the steps. He surely heard. No, he didn't. Samuel G's been walking the whole time. He's just walked through the smoke, come up behind him, found a double. That is huge from Samuel. They were watching the flank, and somehow they're able to make it through. I don't know how that's happened with Samuel G. A 3K. And Replan's got to be kicking himself now after letting Samuel walk up behind his teammates right past him in the smoke.
Yeah, and was unfortunately tagged down extremely low in that first fight right there when he took down Fancy. Although he tried to back off, did get caught by the aggression through Cinema before he could regen the health. So ends up getting taken down 6-7 now, just 1 round in the difference between these 2. And, I mean, it's not going to be an amazing buy here from Endpoint. They'll get what they can most likely. You see already a carbine being pulled out on the Reflexer, but I mean, they may be considering a bit of an eco, spending some, but also keeping a little bit in the bank so that coming into the next round, they will have a much stronger investment. 3 carbines, a couple of the default grease guns. Unfortunately, no utility at all to work with, so it will come down to them actually trying to win out these aim duels. As Fake is the one that actually needs to charge over towards Long. Nice kill, though, by Sus, catching Mark, of course, trying to make his way up second mid. With the smoke then going down as well, it didn't really allow for anyone else to try and follow it up and get revenge.
Sus is in a lot of danger, tucked in that corner, though. He needs support, and that's where Fancy comes in, pushing up to help him out and make sure that middle is at least secure, and Sus only has to worry about one angle. The problem is holding down that part of the map control gives away a lot when the enemies are able to walk on in through the beside tank, in through L room, and just completely destroy you from behind. That's exactly what happened down there to Sus, and Fancy sitting around. He's being spotted in middle, just being kept in, boxed in by Replan. He has to take the fight. There's 3 players there. Does he want to take a close range fight versus 3 or long range versus 1? Either way, it's going to end in his death. He doesn't manage to take anyone down with him, leaving Envictus with a 2v4. Oh no, that is huge by Joseph. If he had a different weapon, if that was an STG, that'd be round over, 3 kills.
Yeah, they were just all lined up right there. Unfortunately, didn't even manage to find one. Done a bit of damage to make it slightly easier for Samuel, but not able to get anything else off the back of it, and eventually juices himself also going down there as he gets caught by Replan. So Endpoint instantly able to return around and keep the lead in their favor for the moment at 8-6.
And that SMG nerf really hurt him, man. That was, the timing was so good. Three
Yeah.
players lined up. Just that range killed him.
The actual situation probably couldn't have played out any better. It was just, unfortunately, the weaponry that
Yeah,
wasn't
I think
ideal.
if he had the Gaver, he probably would have had a way better chance.
Could have sprayed down
but
at least 2 with just a couple of
yeah,
quick
but
taps
there's
like
no way
so.
he knows they're running towards top mid. You know, in his perspective, they're pushing down towards A, or they're taking mid control, so they're going to push him. He's peeking out to catch a close range fight, and they're running away. It's couldn't have worked out worse.
I was about to say I don't think Fancy actually realized that there was a player already up close, but fortunately did have Niels to give a bit of assistance, so they are able to take down that kill quickly onto Cinda. So a man advantage here for Envictus, looking to try and return around again immediately, rather. Reflexers alone, I believe, pushing out onto this B-bomb site right now, being a bit of a nuisance. That is going to be his goal. Try and keep these players around B as his teammates look to try and shift their attention on towards the A-bomb site. Smoke goes down with that 1 kill as well. He's actually successfully pulled 3 players over towards the side of the map. That is massive. Oh, Samuel, though, he gets a great time in himself. He may be able to get a couple out of this. Needs to be cautious as second mid, but the positive is now he can give that information back to his teammates. As I say that, though, Mark going to turn around. Fake in the meantime, being able to find himself one onto Sus. And it leaves it all onto Niels and Fancy to try and save this round for Envictus.
They're already rotating in and caught them off guard, but no frags on the back of it. Now the game is afoot. The information given over. Endpoint know what's going on. They're ready for Niels to come up close, and he's taken down. Fancy completely pincered and eliminated. And that's going to be another round taken up by Endpoint. They're closing in on that victory. 9 on the board.
I was so confused for a second.
Yeah, you're like, what kind of weapon is that? Has this game been updated in the last round? No, so just so you guys know, there is a bug where if you switch to, it's only on spectator. If you switch to someone as they're switching weapons, with like taking a weapon that's on the floor, you will get both the weapon that they had in their hand and the weapon they took from the floor merged together. The best is when
super weapon.
When they have a scope and they swap it for an MP40, and you get this, and it's only if you swap at exactly the right moment, and you get a scoped MP40. Looks pretty trippy.
Only on the spec, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't quite use it on the range like that.
Raplin and also Mark already picking up kills here on B. That leaves Niels on his own, and as long as they push him together like they did, they're able to trade him out and keep themselves in a favorable position. Samuel doing what he could. Very close on that fight. Didn't actually manage to do as much damage as I expected on towards Reflexer before he does go down. And that leaves it all onto Sus, a man who has been having a pretty solid performance so far. But a 1v3 is it a bit too much to ask. I mean, he's given us the first kill already, so there's 2 more to go.
He was ready for that peek on top of stairs, but just had too many angles to clear. I think though what might have happened there for Samuel in the fight is that he shot the metal of the stairs a little bit, and the metal actually saved the player's life, which is it's not ideal because it's very hard to take that into account, the handrail of the stairs. But that's why he was playing there. Walking on through, Sus hasn't got a chance. They were so ready for the walk through the smoke, and the benefit of the angle. Look at that movement from Cinda. The benefit of the angle that Cinda was holding was obviously he can see him if he walks through either smoke. So he's not, sat in the open looking towards Broken House and then going to get pushed in the left and have to flick. It's just 1 angle, 2 angles, 1 lineup. Easy peasy. Easy peasy.
Yeah, looks like we're missing a player right now from the Envictus lineup, so a pause has been called for.
17 kills on Sus right now. He's slowed down on the Axis side, but I mean, I guess you kind of expect it.
Yeah, they haven't got a chance to get a lot done either. They've only been able to pick up that 1 round, which was the second round and a half, I believe.
I heard actually Cinda was saying he hasn't been having the hottest tournament, and it's kind of shown. I mean, 6 for 9, 4 assists, netting a positive in terms of duels he's been directly involved in the kill for deaths. But yeah, I think it's when your worst player's having that kind of game, it's okay. You're having a decent enough time, especially with the likes of Raplan, Reflexer, and Fake having such strong performances.
Would you say Sind is the weakest player here on Endpoint? Which is, of course, you have to point out that saying that isn't a bad thing because they're all really strong players.
Yeah,
but it definitely seems like, at least to Endpoint, Mark is always saying he's the weakest player. But maybe that's just the mind game. Maybe he's trying to get in people's minds.
Yeah. No, I think that Cinda's very honest about his performance. All these guys are. Whenever they have a bad game, they're no strangers to saying it. But historically, I don't know if I would label Cinda the worst player on the lineup. I think that this lineup suffers and prides itself on consistent inconsistency, where they always have a guy. Almost every tournament, there's someone that's just not feeling so hot, But everybody else picks up that slack. They're all doing it. And it's kind of like as soon as you realize, you know what, this isn't my day. I'm not on my A game. All selfish needs to have good stats and everything just gets discarded, and they start playing for the team. They'll happily go first into sights. They'll happily play that aggressive angle. You saw Cinda there tucked in the corner. He was taking first contact. His teammate could swing out and help afterwards. And that's it. You're like, right, look, use me as a CCTV camera, bait me, and then just find the kill. And that's cool, because I'm not going to find the kill myself.
Well, I mean, it is all about the win in the end. The statistics of an individual player not being the biggest of deals, although normally, of course, you do want decent statistics because that helps with getting the win.
Yeah. The other thing I would say about Endpoint is this is probably the most tilt-proof lineup that I've seen in pretty much any game. Every single one of these players, they just don't care. And they win every tournament, but they just don't care. They're like, if they start losing and they're like 6-0 down, 10-0 down, they're like, yeah, whatever. You know, we can come back into this. We just need to stop being noobs. But it's not like one guy saying that.
Probably an exact quote from Mark.
Yeah. Oh, literally. I'm pretty sure I've heard him say that on the stage. But it's not a case that they're looking at it going like, one guy's going, we need to stop being bad, and everyone else is kind of like, shut up, man. You know, you're being bad. Oh, they all just kind of go, yeah, we I don't know why we threw that round. Let's talk about it. Okay, cool, let's win. No one gets tilted. Everybody's smiling. Even after they take a stupid loss or whatever, they're just like, yeah, whatever, who cares?
Happens.
It happens, yeah. You can't win every game.
It happens. Where's the Bears?
No, that's him. That's him after they lose a round. It's like, there's a Beers, guys. Calling the Endpoint staff. Like, the beer's empty. Oh. We gave you one last round.
Nice nade coming in there by Fancy early on, taking out Cinda. A man you mentioned hasn't been having the strongest of performances for them so far, landing in towards that little arch there as well. Cinda not going to be too happy with going down early on. But still the 10-6 lead rather overall here for Endpoint. But I think this round is one that they are certainly going to look to try and fight back into. Unfortunately, it's just getting worse and worse for them at this point because Samuel taking down Fake as well has now put it into a 3-on-5. And there's still a lot of time to work with. I mean, it is somewhat a positive for Endpoint, but it also gives Envictus a lot of time to just go ahead and set themselves up in these crossfires and just wait. They don't have to force the issue at all.
Oh, the smokes go down as well. This blocks Reflexer out of the strat. And they can't really afford to wait around because so much time's already gone. So much map control could go to Envictus. Niels just takes it on Reflexer through the smoke as he attempts to push on forward. And a 2v5, it's not looking likely. A scope in the hands of Replan. Down goes the nade. It would have forced the player out of the corner, but didn't really matter. Homer finds himself a quick double. That's beautiful by Mark. This may just have brought them back into it. A bomb plant should be secured at the moment. Replan's very exposed. Takes up an MP40. Scope out, jump across. That was so damn close. But as Homer falls, it's all on Replan. He picks one, looking for a little bit more. He knows the other player was around the market stall. He's conscious of him maybe being behind the car. But the flank is coming through, in through upper cinema. Replan walks out. Where's the communication? Was it lower? Where's Samuel G right now? Yeah, he's coming through lower. Okay, I thought he'd walked up the stairs, saw him, and said nothing. But that's a little bit better at least. Samuel spotted coming out, and Replan takes a third. What an amazing round by Endpoint. 2 versus 5. Homer opens the sight. Replan closes the round. That is beautiful.
That should not allowed to be allowed to actually happen right there. Endpoint, they were down in the 3-on-5. Their positions were all pretty much known as well. Envictus, that's a round that they are going to be kicking themselves over and not picking up because now they're in a position where if they want to make this win happen and if they want to do it without going into overtime, they cannot lose another round. They have to pretty much show us a flawless Axis side right now. And I mean, it's possible, but what we've seen up to this point, it's been very back and forth, and it feels like Endpoint are going to be able to get themselves over that finish line, even if it does come into a little bit of a closer fight. But to kick things off here, Fake already getting that opening kill on Sus, so a man advantage. It is indeed Envictus on the back foot. A great shot by Reflexer, living up to his name. Juices goes down, and with that, as do the chances of Envictus.
Shots by Niels at least eventually net him a kill. But man, oh man, there's still a lot of recovery to be had. Endpoint haven't spread out. Sorry, haven't focused up and went towards the site just yet. They're very spread out. They're playing it slow. Fancy hasn't got the ability to push towards middle. Homer spotted out sitting around mid, and Fancy still goes. He goes with an MP40 out. He could have been forced into a long-range duel, spots the bomb, and makes it away. Smart decision to turn and run immediately, realizing they were going to group up and they were going to be nearby to help that bomb out. Mark won't be too happy about being caught with his pistol out. Caught with his PP. Pistol. Pistol power. That's what it stands for.
Caught with his pistol power.
Pistol power in his hand. Not the first time. Rappelin takes Niels. And Fancy was thinking about getting aggressive through the smoke. I think at this point he just waits. Look how close he is. There's a Cinda on the other side. They could touch each other if the wall wasn't there. But instead they've got to wait. And they're going to cuddle a little bit later on. Nice by Cinda. Puts his hot bullets inside Fancy, leaving Samuel G to do it all alone. Do it by himself.
Yeah, no, I would not fancy his chances right now. Not looking good as he's getting actually tagged up from a couple of different angles right now. Tries to hide himself, but then Fake ends up just pushing in alongside the player as well, coming in from Graveyard. So there was very little chance there of him really doing anything at all. 12-6. Endpoint working with double the scoreline of their opponents right now, and that's after what looked like it was going to be a pretty close game early on. I mean, we did see the 2 opener rounds going to Envictus, then we had 5 in a row from Endpoint, but then we did see Envictus really beginning to pick things up a little bit, but in the second half, they just haven't got anything going. It's been pretty dominant from Endpoint.
It really has. 12-6. Like, Envictus picked up so many of these rounds early on. Like you said, domination has been the name of the game for Endpoint. A lot of the rounds have been close, but not taking it across the line. Mark gets caught off guard there. Repline in with an opening nade duel, but it's returned by Cinda to bring it into at least a man advantage. Even after Mark fell, Repline, again, a little bit aggressive, wanting to finish the game off sooner rather than later. Smokes go down, and a bomb plant could be secured, but Cinda seems to be backing off. He doesn't trust it. Sus coming in through upper. I don't know if he was just spotted there by Reflexor. I think his shoulder might have been visible for just a second. Reflexor doesn't really know what to do here. I mean, he's got to try to find a little bit of damage. Couldn't find himself a shot. Looks back towards Cinnamon. Misses that one too. Oh, no, that is not ideal. Oh, he landed it onto Juices as well. Lit him down. The health net regen. It's into a 2 versus 2. Bomb plant on A. And a retake is a foot for Envictus. It's not looking good with Juices being lit up so early on.
Yeah, once again, he actually did get wall banged down when he was playing in behind the market there. Unfortunately for Reflexor, wasn't able to get the kill, so 2 versus 2 now. It is a retake. This is one that Envictus have to pick up if they want to keep themselves in this game, of course. Cinda playing out in the Graveyard right now alongside Fake, so it is actually a very passive setup from Endpoint. Waiting to see if Envictus are going to get aggressive, and they do know the position of one player. Now they should know that both are here. Fake is being spotted as well. They know there's one up close. The only issue is Juice is tapping the bomb. He's going to have to try and force these fights one by one, and there's just not enough time to work with anymore.